clicked links for alternative platforms. How do you tell somebody you don't have any principles without telling somebody you don't have any principles? All cops are bad people. But glad these cops in security in Nevada aren't messing around with Proud Boys, Trumpers, and anti-experiments. I hope Lieutenant Governor candidates Mack Miller learned the lesson today, and I hope the rest of these Trumper douche nozzles realize this will continue to happen. Well, then you don't think all cops are bastards, do you? If you, here's the thing with the left is they're anti-authority until they're in the authority. Then they become fierce authoritarians. Anyway, so I have to be careful on YouTube because anything dealing with the gift from overseas, China, will get you a strike. So he got tossed out of a meeting that dealt with the First Amendment issue of whether the state feels they should combat medical misinformation, which is kind of a weird thing for the state to even address. Anyway, so he gets thrown out in a kind of a weird, violent way, and these are security guards, but I guarantee you they're off-duty cops because they're all strapped up and they've got like a Liberty device on their hip, and then one image I saw, the guy's got like 3 extra magazines. So these security guards for a commissioner meeting, but they're definitely cops, and they assaulted this guy, committed a battery upon him. His head hit the ground, and he's running for lieutenant governor. I don't know if they knew that. Really, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't treat anyone like this. But they feel comfortable doing this because the cops and the district attorneys have had a very evil relationship for a long time. And it doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left, you want to see that fixed. You want to see people held accountable. Don't get me wrong. It's not like don't blindly follow the cops and don't blindly be anti-cop. It's like hold them accountable for their bad acts, but also realize most of the time they're dealing with scumbags who deserve what they get. But the times they do, I've seen them literally openly just delete somebody because they wanted to. It's like, well, they should be charged with murder for that, and it's like they're not, because the district attorneys have this weird incestuous relationship with them and the police unions. It's a messy situation. Okay, so this guy is a Republican running for office. So nothing's going to happen to these cops. Nothing's going to happen to the commissioner meeting. Again, this issue of the First Amendment, and he got tossed out of the meeting. But he didn't just get tossed out of the meeting. He got thrown out, and they were like destroying things along the way. This is really shady stuff, and it won't matter because he's a Republican. So Black Lives Matter, I'm sure they're going to be up in arms about this. No, because Black Lives Matter does what their puppet masters tell them to do. It's yes, sir, no, sir, and they stay on the plantation. They absolutely won't do a thing about this. Okay, then they did another thing with this little character assassination, which they're immediately doing on Twitter. Is this guy, Mack Miller, is taking photographs with the Proud Boys, and he's like standing with Enrico, whatever, who's some kind of black Mexican or something, and the other guys in the photos are Mexicans. And so they're trying to say like, oh, they're trying to say about Mack Miller, don't you realize that these white supremacists hate you? It's like, those guys aren't white, and the other guys in the Proud Boys aren't supremacists of any sort whatsoever. It's not really like that's a self-own when you say like these blacks and Mexicans are teaming up and that they're white supremacists. It's like, maybe you're wrong. Maybe the Proud Boys is just a group of normies who are probably vaguely conservative on some issues. Like to strawman them as some evil group is beyond cringe, because people on the far right look at the Proud Boys and goes, yeah, these guys are totally cringe. But they're trying to use that as character assassination, and it's like that cuts both ways. When you say like he's associating with them, it's like he's definitely a black guy associating with a black guy and a bunch of other Mexican guys, and you're still trying to push this narrative that they're these bad guys, Germans of the 30s. It's like your narrative is falling apart when you're saying that these people are the new blackface of white supremacism. That just doesn't make any sense. You're so desperate not to blame black people or Mexican people for anything, for being. Here's the thing. They don't want to admit that there are black and brown conservatives out there who look at Chicago, St. Louis, L.A., areas of America that are hellholes. They have no place in a first world nation. There's no excuse that America can have 50 shootings in Chicago last weekend, 62 shootings in Chicago last weekend. A couple months ago, it had 100 shootings in Chicago over the weekend. It doesn't matter if you're black, and you look at that and you go, okay, we've done this Democratic plantation thing for years. It got us generations of single mothers making future single mothers and felons. You need fathers. You need a family. You need an extended family, grandparents and great-grandparents. The only way to do that, if you pay for something, you'll get more of it. If the taxpayer pays the single mother to be a single mother, you will get more single mothers. There's only one way to stop this, and it starts with cutting welfare to single mothers. You can't pay them to be single mothers and then expect them to get married. There's a lot of other stuff going on with... You got this border crisis with immigrants coming in. So you've got low-skill immigrants who are coming in, who are taking low-skill jobs that Americans were doing. So you've taken the black father out of the home. You've made him useless. He's just hit it and quit it now. He's nothing. He's absolutely useless because she marries the taxpayer. Because you replaced his job from someone who is going to work for even less, and a lot of times send the money back over not overseas, but over to the South. That was all done on purpose. There's all these like conspiracy theories about the CIA moving blow into the inner cities. Probably not so much, and dropping off liberty devices. Probably not. And there's not any need to do that. The hard seller in 1965, like once you create a welfare state and you replace these low skill jobs, it's like, well, you take every bit of pride away from a family. You destroy the family. You destroy that community. That was the goal. Like what you have now, Chicago, that was the goal all along. It's like what they ended up with is what they planned. They're not stupid people. They're evil people. There's a whole big difference. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.